I still very vividly remember it was 25th of January, 1999, when for the first time in my life, I met Eli Goldratt in Atlanta. And since that day, my life has, you can call it, spoiled. Because now he made so much impact in those 5 days. We were the guinea pigs for Goldratt's satellite program, which he was testing on us. You might have seen this Goldratt satellite 8-volume videos, which to my mind, even today, are the best TOC education anyone can get. The first thing which struck me that day, he said, if you can think of something, then it should be possible. So I dared to ask him why, as his answer floored me. He said, otherwise God would not have allowed it to enter in your mind.
Wow.
And it has helped me challenge almost every possible thing in this universe. I remember another time, it was also in Atlanta, 2 months after the September 11 fiasco. We were having a discussion, and a lot of them were consultants. So one consultant said, I have a conflict which I am unable to resolve. And that conflict was, should I invest my time, effort in satisfying existing clients, or should I try to get new clients? And that's the time, that was my first breakthrough in applying his, that if you can think, then it should be possible, and there are no conflicts. I started thinking, why should there be a conflict? Why? Why should I invest my time in getting me new clients? Any one of you, please go ahead and tell me, do you think, is there a way of win-win that without my investing my time, can I get new clients? Any idea? Anyone? Go ahead, Dr. Rajesh Beda. Unmute yourself and share.
So good evening, sir. Great to see you, hear you again. Just my thought is, when your existing clients speak about your work, without you investing your time, more client and more business can come to you.
Thank you. This was the insight, and I give total credit to Eli. Basically, he said, in order to get new clients, I must invest time on the new clients. And he had used a phrase, those who have seen Goldratt's satellite program, volume 7 on people management, he said, put your full sarcasm in your voice and say, really? And another thing which he said, whenever you get such strong connections, oh yes, it's a must. Ask yourself, is it the only way? I was using these two only. And suddenly I realized, what if my clients get me new clients, satisfy them to that extent that I don't have to spend my time in getting me new clients. That was it way back November 2011. Sorry, November 2001. It's more than 21 years. I've not gone seeking appointments or getting a client. Every single time, it has been one of my clients who connected me to someone else. So this is one, to my mind, very significant thing, an actual example how it can be applied. 10 years down the road, I had something else. Though I was diagnosed with diabetes way back in 1995, but in 2008, 11, yes. My sugar levels were sky high. Doctor told me that you have to take care, otherwise you might lose some part of your body. It will attack some parts. I told doctor, don't worry, I will cure it. He sarcastically told me, you get it in control, then we will see whether you are able to cure it. At that time, 2011, there was no known cure for reversing diabetes. But I was hell-bent on it. What is the reason? Once again, Dr. Goldratt, if you can think, then it should be possible. So what is that thought which made me, let me say, today I use less than 10% of my medication. I'm still not off all medications. But if I'm randomly checked at any given time by any parameter on blood sugar, I'll be shared that you are either a borderline diabetic or non-diabetic. Depends what I've eaten some time back. So in another time when I was asked, how did I really, what was the key result for parameter? My assumption was, why should I believe that diabetes cannot be reversed? Says who? Oh, all the doctors in the world are saying, yes. But is that the ultimate? Suddenly I realized, no, maybe tomorrow there'll be somebody. Who knows? We can say today we do not have a known cure for reversing diabetes. But to say it cannot be reversed, it is impossible, that is a questionable thing. Similar things have been happening to me all my life, all. Most of the time, we find all the constraints. Some of you are familiar with theory of constraints. Anyone who has no clue about theory of constraints? Anyone? So that I check. Anyone? So I'm assuming everyone is reasonably familiar. You know, we have physical constraints. Yeah, Kapil, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Good evening, sir. Pleasure to meet you on this forum. In fact, I was very intrigued by the topic of your event today. And would you please brief me on the theory of constraints, because I have not followed it, and I believe it is proving to be a change in mindset that allows the individual to go beyond his thinking. Sir, can you please enlighten me?
Sure. Take a quick detour. You see, the strength of the chain is determined by the strength of the weakest link. Unless you can identify and improve the strength of the weakest link of the chain, can you improve the strength? Please tell me. Unmute yourself, stay unmuted. Kapil?
Sir, you are saying that the efficiency in...
No, I didn't use the word efficiency. Incidentally, in TOC world, efficiency is a 4-letter word.
Okay.
I asked, can the strength of the chain increase even slightly unless the strength of its weakest link is improved?
No.
No. Similarly, the output of any organization will be determined by the output of its weakest link. Are you clear? Very quickly, I'll tell you, for any company, small or big, it does not matter. There are only 4 possible weakest link or constraint, as we call it. What are those? Most people complain we don't have orders. We have a constraint, we don't have adequate number of orders. Some people say we don't have enough capacity. Said in many forms, we don't have manpower, we have a issues on logistics, we don't have enough capacity on the machine, blah, blah, blah. This is another type of constraint. The third constraint, which is quite prevalent these days, at least in automobiles, there's a tremendous shortage of chips or input materials, correct? And the fourth constraint, unfortunately, is the worst possible constraint, is called cash constraint. Cash constraint means we have orders, but we are unable to execute. Why? Because we don't have material. But why don't we have the material? Because we don't have the money to buy from the vendors, and no one will give us either a vendor credit or a loan. I have enough capacity also. I have people who are idling. Are you clear, Kapil? So there are
yes,
only
sir, regarding, sir, sorry to interrupt you. What about access to resources? Is that the same as items mentioned?
Yeah, operations constraint. We don't have adequate resources. It could be manpower, it could be machine, it could be an equipment, it could be land, it could be anything. It's all resources. I'll call it a capacity constraint. If you got enough money, you can always buy, isn't it? So, but on deeper thoughts, against these four physical constraints, the real constraint is a wrong thought, assumption of the decision maker. I'm going to share with you how often we find that we are unable to deliver whatever we have committed to our customers on time. Anyone? How often?
I would say most often we are not able to deliver to our customers because of XYZ reasons. So, but I have seen it happening many times.
Thank you. Now I'll tell you the answer is ridiculously simple. What do we need if we have to deliver on time? Oh, we have a shortage of raw materials. Or buy more, keep more inventory. Or we don't have adequate equipment. Okay, buy equipment. We don't get manpower. I'm going to discuss that in a few minutes from now. In a country like India, when you say we don't have manpower, it's nonsense. Total, utter nonsense. Or we don't have material, we don't have the skilled manpower, we don't have equipment. But look at it, what really is. In each one of these things, each one of them, there's one common element. The owner, the decision maker has to invest money. Do you all agree? The problem is they do not know what will be the benefit. Actual example I'm sharing. Sometime in 2013, yes. One of the largest manufacturers of jumbo bags, you know, where you, what you call pack fertilizer, potatoes, grains, etc. I was asked to help them. They were in severe trouble. I said, what is your problem? I was told they do not have adequate stitchers who can stitch these thick, heavy bags. I said, I don't buy. Something is wrong. How many stitches you want? I'll get you tomorrow. I said, 125 stitches we want. I said, what will happen if you get 125 stitches? Oh, that is our capacity constraint. I said, fine. We did a little bit of a calculation that if they could get one stitcher extra, only one stitcher, very simply, their additional sales per day after taking care of their raw materials and so on would be 4,000 rupees. In TOC language, it's called throughput. Every stitcher would have created a throughput of 4,000 rupees every single day. Said, okay, you are telling me that you don't get stitches. I don't believe it. What is the reason? Why are you not getting? No, we are not getting it. I said, I don't agree. India has exporting a lot of garments and it's quite intricate. How come for a rough work, you are not able to get the stitchers? Very rudimentary tailors, if you can. Yes, it requires hard work, effort, work which is quite strenuous, but it is not skilled work of any big nature. No, we don't get it. I said, okay, how much do you pay your regular workers for this? I'm talking about 2013. They said, we pay 400 rupees. I said, fine. What if we were to pay 800 rupees for every additional stitcher? So I was told, have you gone crazy? I said, let's look at the other way around. Instead of, if you get one more stitcher, your net contribution after removing raw material costs, etc., is 4,000 rupees. Now you pay a stitcher 800 rupees. How much you make money? 3,200. Everyone was looking at each other. In specifically, the HR man was very, very happy, whose job was to get it. Anyway, I left at that. I said, if you have to pay more, so be it. I visited that company after 1 month. The HR head, Mr. Manoj Dwivedi, he was standing at the gate to receive me and he said, sir, I have done it. I said, what have you done it? I didn't remember what he was supposed to do. He said, I got 125 stitchers. I said, wow. How much extra did you have to pay? He said, who's saying about paying extra? I was told that we cannot afford 400 rupees, get them at 350. Those who want to know about it, send us a note. We'll put the, what you call, letter of the CEO on the LinkedIn or anywhere else. That how, in a matter of 1 month, what they could not solve for a couple of years, it was solved overnight. What do you think was changed there? Manishji, what do you think?
Sir, their perception about the manpower?
I'll tell you, somewhere the assumption is our cost should not go up. As if reducing cost is the goal of the company. People are not bad. They have wrong assumption. And now that is reminding me to give you one more example. Right where Mr. Mukherjee was working, I'm talking about 19 years back. We had gone, I'm not naming his company at that time. The company was losing money for 7 consecutive years. It was about to be closed. And as a matter of last desperate attempt, they said, can you help us? Now, you can choose whatever your unit. The turnover was 37, whether you can call it crore or million, doesn't matter. I'm giving you the, what you call, scale. The loss used to be 12 units. On a 37 crore, 12 crore loss, 37 million turnover, 12 million loss. So we were trying to find out where is our constraint. And we found that cash was our constraint. We didn't have the money. So I said, fair enough. From tomorrow morning onwards, all key result areas, key performance indices of all the top management will be abolished. Instead, we will have only 2 measurements, only 2. One, what we call throughput, net sales minus pure variable cost. And another was on time in full delivery. And the entire top management will be, what you call, their performance will be judged on this. First, the finance man got up. He said, that is not acceptable. Neither I buy the raw material, nor I manufacture it, nor I sell it. These are the people who are responsible for generating the throughput. Why should I be penalized? I'm doing all my job properly. So I asked him, okay, normally I'm dead against laying off people, dead against. But for the time being, I said to him, what if we lay off you? You said you do not impact the throughput at all, but some cost will come down. At least our loss will be reduced. Suddenly, a light bulb went in him. He said, no, sir, I can also impact throughput. He said, a few minutes back, you said you have no control. You cannot contribute. How come? Sheepishly, he told me, sir, I can get some money from the corporate office or even get some overdraft limits from the bank. And he told me that many times our vendors are not supplying because we don't pay on time. So by getting this money, we can get more material, we can produce more, and we can sell more. Said, wow, what an analysis. But tell me, if you knew this, why have you not done it so far? Any guesses? What was the reason that was preventing him? Malay, you make a guess.
Probably, sir, he has not thought on that direction.
People are not stupid. Don't ever make this mistake. I'll tell you.
Prakash has shared something in the
Yes,
video.
Prakash,
Prakash,
can
if you can unmute.
Prakash, go ahead. Prakash. He's not able to respond. He said interest cost control was his key result area. Yes, Kunal Sikka said the correct answer. He wasn't measured in this way. So many times the means itself become the goal. Interest cost control, cost reduction is a means to make more money. That's not the goal. Do you agree, or should I explain a little bit more on this? No, these are the things which have challenged my thoughts. Now I'm sharing something very different from industry. Is there anybody with a high science physics background? Anyone? Otherwise, I will not bother you. Has anybody heard about string theory?
Sir, can you please explain why the focus should not be on reducing interest and increasing throughput?
I explained to you. When you touch one part of your body, does it remain only there, or it has an implication elsewhere?
Everything is connected. So in business,
Correct.
again, everything is connected.
So now you like to look at it. By many times, while everything is connected, unfortunately, most of us do not have good understanding of what one department does and the impact it has somewhere else. Are you clear, Kapil?
Yes, sir. So are you saying that by increasing throughput, the revenue stream changes?
Not revenue stream. Throughput increase is much more than the small change cost you may have to increase either because of interest cost or because of manpower cost. Are you with me? I'll give you another important thing. Very small things, nothing major. Have you heard of cost benefit analysis? I'm telling you, this is the worst possible thing. Why?
So you're saying that CBA is the wrong methodology?
I don't know what is CBA.
Cost benefit analysis.
So please use the full form. I was not familiar with this word.
Go ahead,
Yes,
sir.
it's totally, utterly wrong and harmful. So what should we do it? It's called benefit cost analysis. And I will explain you why the change of order is so important. Most companies inherently assume they will not be allowed to increase manpower. Already they are struggling. What is the first thing when you say you have to increase manpower? What will happen, Kapil?
The management or the finance head will say that this will increase cost and this is not
Correct.
required.
Increase cost, as if controlling cost, reducing cost is the goal. What is the goal? That's we have to be clear. Is to make money. Let there be no confusion.
Goal, sir, is to grow, because only through
Bullshit.
growth.
Total, utter bullshit.
No.
Survival can't wait, growth can.
So are you saying that the business, should run on a survival mode or should look at a growth program?
First survive, then thrive. When you're not surviving, forget about growth. This is a total nonsense which MBAs and others have created in the world. Growth is not the goal of the company. Growth in what? Growth in sales? Do you know any company, large company, which is in existence for last 20 years? Do you know any company which has made a loss this year? Any company? One company, name it, large company.
All companies are making profits because of.
Sorry, I'm asking you a simple question. Please respond. Do you know of a large company which is making a loss, which had made a loss this year? But it has been in the last 20 years.
I'm not aware, sir.
You're not aware. Anybody else? No one? Have you heard of Jet? Have you heard of Kingfisher? Have you heard of these companies? Now,
Indigo as well.
Now, Indigo. Now, look 10 years back, 20 years back, they were making money, correct? Otherwise, they would not have been existing today. Their turnover was much less 10, 20 years back. Oh, they have grown. Grown in what? Grown in sales? Is that the goal? Of course, many companies think, of course, they suffer. The goal is to make money, and I would say more and more money. I have no objection with that. Sales is a means and not the goal. This is the wrong assumption. May I proceed further? Okay, if you don't respond, then I have no choice but to proceed further. So what happens? Many times, when you look at cost benefit, looking at cost itself, no, this is too expensive, we can't afford it. Now I'm asking anybody else. If I tell you, let's first work for anything, any new idea, assume it is implementable, assume it will be successful, assume, find out what will be the benefit. In money terms, I'm saying it very, very clearly. Look at it. Many times, don't we put up new projects? When you put up a new project, first you have to invest before you get the return. Is that clear? So every time, yeah, Naveen, you're saying something?
Oh, no, I was saying that, yes, what you are telling is right. For every project, you first have to see that you have to invest first before you get the return.
So all I'm saying is, first assume that it will be successful. Don't worry about obstacles. Find out what is the benefit in financial terms. I don't want any other nonsense. Now you look at the cost. If there's a significant difference between the benefit and cost, it may be worthwhile to go further. Is this clear to everyone? Many times we stop in the tracks itself, looking at the cost itself. Let me say, let's invest $1 million in this new equipment. Many times the companies who are deeply in financial trouble, so as it is, we are in trouble. Now you're talking about 1 million. But if you tell them that let's work it out, assume the benefit will be 10 million and your cost will be 1 million. Now, cost could be on many things, including manpower recruitment. What do you think will happen? Do you think you have a good chance to get approval from the top management?
Certainly.
The real problem is we as managers, when we go to the top management, and quite often our proposals are rejected. Is that a fact or not? Why? Manish, you are shaking your hand, so tell me why. Why do they get rejected?
So because we do not talk about money, we always say we will be benefited like this, like this.
Yes.
But if we talk about money, so the top management will listen to it and then we will listen accordingly.
Well, I must clarify, Manish is the top management. He is the owner of the company.
Thank you. I didn't know that, and glad you said it. The real problem managers have, what do they want, the managers? They want more resources. Men, material money, men, material machines. What else they want? Give me this, give me this, give me that. And when you ask, what will you give me? They give every parameter except money. I'll improve the efficiencies. Or it will improve the visibility. Now, digital is very much in vogue. It will improve the visibility. Is visibility increasing the goal of the company? It's a means. I'm not objecting. Oh, I need more money for advertisement. By all means. But tell me, through advertisement, will you help me increase sales? Will you help me increase contribution? If not, then for what? That you can put up your collar in front of your wife when you are watching TV. Oh, look, my company's ad is coming on the TV. Is that the reason? But that's what we do. What do you think is the reason? Why people are unable to deliver, give it to the top management? Anybody? Dr. Rakesh Sinha?
They don't have control over the resources which are required for delivering the benefits.
Naveen has said something very interesting. They're not able to measure. I'll use the word, very strong word, very strong word. Most of the people, including the topmost companies, the topmost managers are financially illiterate.
Yes.
They do not know by doing this whether my money will go up or go down. They do not know. And many times I've included the CFOs also there. They do not know. This was Eli's great contribution. He defined just 3 financial measurements, only 3. For any change you need to do, be approximately measure these 3, only 3. Give you them. I'll give it to all of you. First is simply, okay, we do this ABC initiative. Tell me how much my sales will go up. We can work out. Now, because of these sales, how much my additional input costs will go up. Whatever way you want to measure, I have no problem. You look at the cost. So additional sales minus additional cost is what you're, right now I'll call it throughput. Clear to everyone?
Yes.
Now you look at it, how my fixed expenses, operating expenses may go up because of this. We call it operating expense. But in addition, I might have to put some money for something else. We call it investment. And this is another area people make a big mistake. Whenever they're talking about investment, they're talking about only the capital part of it. What about the increase in inventory? What about the increase in accounts receivable? They also could be very significantly higher. So every time you want to take a new decision, be approximately find it out. How much will be the contribution throughput will go up? How much investment will be required, both in capital equipment plus working capital. Third, check out how much operating expenses will go up. Now decide whether you want to go ahead or not. Any Anything, any explanation required here? Okay. There's a small thing. Many times, who are the people who are familiar with drum buffer rope or the production solution of TOC?
Yes, I am. I'm a little bit familiar with that.
Okay, you are a little bit familiar. Anybody else? Mr. Prasad. I'm getting some answer from Rakesh. You're also saying something? Okay. Sorry, I can't hear. The connection seems to be weak. Often, the very first thing we require is to how to identify the constraint or the weakest link in a company. Has anybody tried to implement and you have this difficulty? Thank you. I'm going to simplify for you. It's very easy. Start from the end. In next 5 minutes, I'll cover it, and then we'll have more question answers. What is the last stage for the material to go out of your company? I'm for the time being taking manufacturing or company with physical products. What is the last stage?
Logistics.
Thank you, Subru. Now ask yourself, should logistics be your constraint? If not, then what should you do? If logistics is your constraint, things are getting constrained, they are being choked here, what should you do? It's very simple. Increase its capacity. Do you agree? Naveen, you want to say something? Naveen,
It is clear, sir.
okay. While you are saying it's very clear, I want to make one more thing. Oh, it's very difficult. Anytime you talk, oh, sir, it can't be implementable. Why? It's very difficult. What is the meaning of it's very difficult?
You have to try more.
I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Yes, somebody said, I don't know how to do it. Who's that person?
I said so.
Okay, Subra. Just because you don't know, does it mean it's difficult? Oh, yes, you don't know. You don't know many things. In fact, we know very little. So if you don't know something, but you want it, then what happens? What is the requirement?
You outsource, sir.
You have to go and find somebody who knows about it. Just because you don't know, does it mean it can't be done? Unfortunately, we assume so. Just because I don't know, I assume nobody else in the world knows it. So coming back, let's say you have taken care of logistics. What is the immediately before logistics? What is the next immediate before? What is the next operation in most companies?
Packaging.
Packing. How often
Packing and storage.
Yes, not storage, packing.
Packaging.
How often it is the case that packing becomes bottleneck towards the end of the month? Has
Yes.
anybody observed it?
Yes, I have seen it many times.
You have seen it many times. Do you
Yes,
want packing to be your bottleneck?
Of course not.
So keep on doing it till you find a point where it is, this is the place you want to keep the bottleneck or the constraint. And this should be reasonably expensive resource. Has everyone got it? Start from the end and keep on going back till you find that this resource in increasing its capacity would be very, very expensive. And you have decided to keep as the bottleneck. So you can identify the constraint or choose the constraint, if I can call it. Now, this was another learning. I had got it on 25th of January, 1999 from Dr. Goldratt, which changed my life. Till then, from 72 to 99, I was only balancing the lines. He said, you have to unbalance the line. One thought, unbalance the line, changed my life. Yes, I had a huge shock. For 26, 27 years, all my life I had been doing balancing the line. And now I learned from this genius that I was wrong. So I have a choice. Either to say this is all nonsense and stay put with my stupidity, or do something different. So anyone who is looking forward how to identify your constraint, very simple. Give you small simile out of this. Let's say you got a 1 kilometer, 1 mile long, very narrow road. You can only move from left to right, let's say. Where shall we start widening the road? Let us say it will take 10 days and you are allowed only a few hours in the night. From the start, should we widen it, or should we start from the end?
From the end.
From the end, it is as simple as that. That's what I'm sharing with you. Start from the logistics, packing, quality control. In one company, large aerospace company.
Inspection.
Sorry?
Inspection was the... No, I know the company.
The inspection was taking 3 weeks. For 3 weeks, parts were waiting to get it inspected. 3 weeks. Now you tell me, yes, inspection equipment were expensive, but not the most expensive. Should inspection equipment be the constraint? Anybody?
Never.
So we did. Yesterday I checked with that person. He said, now it is a day or two. Even now, to my mind, it's not okay. It should be a few hours. Why should a material lie for inspection? Inspection must not be the bottleneck. Must not. So these are some of the examples I've talked about, challenging assumptions, and so on. Yes. My life personally has been changed like anything. If you have any more questions, we still have 13 minutes. Go ahead, 12 minutes. I'm available for any questions. Yes, please, come in.
Sir, you talked about constraints in the organization operations. What about constraints if the organization, as you mentioned, this aerospace company looking at inspection, but again, that's internal. What if the company is relying on external authority or external party who's doing testing, and that inspection is a bottleneck? For example, we have containers coming in for materials that are sometimes taking 1 week to get tested and approved, sometimes 2 weeks to get tested and approved, sometimes 3 weeks to get tested and approved. And we don't have a say in that organization or authority. How do we challenge that assumption? How do we change it?
Okay. First, what type of a company you are? Are you a manufacturing company?
We are a steel trader and processor, sir.
You are a steel trader and you have to get it tested, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In train bookings, have you heard of something called Tatkal?
Can you please repeat, sir? Your line wasn't clear.
Train bookings, have you heard of something called Tatkal?
No, sir.
You don't know? Which city do you live in?
I am not actually living or residing in India, sir, but
So
I have some.
Then that's a problem. Okay. Were you to buy an airline ticket 4 weeks from now or tomorrow, which will be more expensive?
4 weeks from now.
I think you
sorry,
are
immediately prior to flight. Sorry, immediately prior to flight will be more expensive.
You want priority,
prior
you have to
booking.
pay.
Yes.
So what if we ask that company testing, let's say it is taking a week, I want in a day. The testing time is not 1 day or 24 hours, no matter what steel you're testing.
Okay.
The testing time at best will be a few hours. Now,
Correct.
let's talk to him. He's from the steel industry thoroughly. How much time
Yes,
if
sir.
I have to get anything tested, how long will it take? Actual testing time.
So 12 to 18 hours.
Maybe a day, maybe 2 days. Okay. Most of the time, you are in the queue. Nothing more.
Yes.
Mr. Naveen, can you please explain, are you testing flat products or long products? In what kind of,
No,
because
we test everything. We test our raw material, the incoming raw material. We make both flat and long both.
okay, and you're saying that your testing that you're conducting is in-house with your own laboratory, which is the same that we do. We have our own lab with tensile testing, elongation, and so on. My point to Ravi ji is that imports are tested by the ministry. So my point is the ministry has their government laboratory who then sequences the testing in accordance to the arrival of materials and so on. So how can we change that constraint?
No, you keep more inventory, that's all. Of course, that costs money.
Yeah.
That costs you money.
Yeah, Mr. Naveen, what would you say? What would be a way to speed up the process? Is there any way of doing that, or is it just as Ravi ji is saying to increase the?
Look at the entire process. Look at the entire process. If it takes 7 days, look at the entire process. How much time it is waiting? Where? Eliminate waiting.
Okay.
You look at it from the time it. Ek minute, Naveen. From the time it comes to the port for imported material, by the time it goes to the lab and so on, look at across the entire thing, how much is the waiting time and how much is the actual processing time. Processing time means for which the material has to be used.
Okay.
You look at that. Touch time. Thank you, Malay. You look at how much time is at each stage required. I'm not asking you to shrink the process time. I'm requesting you to identify the waiting time and eliminate it, period. Okay. Anyone else? Any question? Sandeep? If you can share your video. Can't hear you. You have a voice issue. Your internet is.
Good evening, sir. Is it audible?
Yes.
Is it audible now, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I was going through, this presentation, and I have a question which is with me. This, as you said, the constraint should not be, it should not be with logistics, or it should not be with packing. So I was just wondering that where should ideally be the constraint in a manufacturing process? Ideally, where should be the constraint?
Thank you. You're asking a very important question. It should be a most scarce resource. Now, for vast majority of the organization, the most scarce resource is money, but not always. For example, I've been working for a company which is in mining. Now, there is a limited amount of mining area available for them. Money is not a constraint, but they don't have any more mines within India. There's no other mine. So then they have to make sure that whatever the mine can deliver, they must take out, no matter what. Sometimes excavators become the bottleneck. Sometimes the manpower becomes the bottleneck. These policies should not become the bottleneck. Are you clear?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any question? One last question. 7:25. Yeah. Rahul, yes, go ahead.
Sir, thank you so much, sir, for your time. Sir, my question is how to estimate the buffer size. Buffer means that stockpile of work in the front of constraint. So how can we estimate the buffer size, or what should be how can we trim into the parts? That's my question, sir.
Thank you. Have you ever gone to an airport to catch a flight?
Yes, sir.
So how many minutes or hours you reach the airport before the last checking slot available? Do you just reach 1 minute before or sometime before?
Sir, I reached 2 hours before.
Why?
Because there is some checking at the airport.
Now, over the years, you have determined that 2 hours works for you, correct?
Yes, sir.
Why not 3 hours? You will be even more safe. Then what happens?
Sir, it's a waste of time if I
Thank you.
reach 3 hours.
Thank you. Why not 1 hour?
It will be delayed.
There's a possibility that 1 hour may not be adequate. Over a period of time, you are trying to see how often you are just reached in time. You have got a sense of it, how much buffer to be done. Correct, Rahul?
Yes, sir.
You can try the same thing. You don't want your bottleneck machine to be starved, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now you'll have to, let's say right now it is not being starving. Okay, reduce a little bit. If it still doesn't starve, very good. Reduce a little bit. Once you find once in a while now it starves, I think it's time for you to increase slightly. I'm not trying to give you a mathematical formula. Use your own experience. Depending upon the uncertainties you have in your environment, you will have to play for it. I'm sorry if I disappointed you by not giving you a big formula or anything like that. I'm more what you can do tomorrow onwards. Well, it's 7:27. I think we should, it's the evening time in India. You people, some of you may be planning to go for dinner on a
So
week.
I see a couple of raised hands. What I will do is I will circulate our email IDs. So if there is any question, you can email to us.
Yes, please do so. So thank you very much. I appreciate you joining us on a weekend. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It's always a pleasure.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.